Alrighty, we're alive. So, welcome to the Big Brain Podcast, episode 5. Fortunately, no Fimbul this week. He's just got some commitments, but I was a bit busy too. But I thought let's just do a quick full card breakdown. I'm not going to take too long. Apologies for new channel, no logo, no anything, but just bear with us. We're all a bit busy, and then slowly we're going to update the channel. But yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'll get straight into it. We'll do the full card here. So the first fight, sorry. Aaron versus JJ. Crazy line. Let's be honest. It's a dog or pass. You can say Aaron probably wins, but I mean, I don't want to say it's low women's MMA, but Aaron is quite young. She's not perfect. She gets hit a lot still. Her wrestling's a bit underrated. She's a strong lady, but JJ's smart. She's got good IQ. She doesn't make many mistakes. This line is probably inflated because Maverick was very overrated. Everyone thought she was amazing in the second coming of this beast fighter, but she's green herself. She makes a lot of mistakes. She's had quite a lot of close fights in the UFC, considering her line has always been crazy juiced. Don't want to talk too much about this. I mean, even if you want to hit Erin by decision, she almost got a KO finish from a crucifix against Miranda in her last fight. She can get a KO. Miranda barely got out. She's good subs, obviously. So I think it's just risky. But yeah, I could see JJ, stuffing a few takedowns, landing she's got a really good 1-2. She's a southpaw, making it close, getting up off her feet, disengaging, staying safe on the ground. So dog or pass for me. Maybe small sprinkled lines. How wrong can you be? Unless Aaron just runs through her in the first round. Second fight, MIchalidis. I think there's a bit of value on this fight, personally. I thought this Russian dude was gonna be some beast, but honestly, he's pretty average. His tape is pretty underwhelming, to be honest. He's fighting a lot of cans. His style is basically just lay and pray. He throws bombs, hooks left and right, typical sambo striking. And whenever he's a bit hittable, and whenever things get a bit tight, he just uses his takedowns to relieve the pressure, and then he doesn't do anything on top. And in a lot of the fights that I found, he just gets stood back up for lack of activity. I mean, the best guy he's beat is probably Eric Spicely, which was a round 1 KO. That's a bit. I mean, how you going? He doesn't exhibit that much punching power in any of his other fights. I think MIchalidis is getting a bit underrated here. I try to go through his whole career. He seems to be quite a decent wrestler. I mean, the best wrestler he's fought was Ion Pascu, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's the Romanian guy that's in Bellator at the moment. And unfortunately, that guy didn't try wrestling much. He didn't try wrestling much. That was about 5-7 years ago. But the one time he did go for a takedown in round 1, MIchalidis just shot back up straight to his feet. I got some questions. He's dropping down to welterweight, but I mean, I don't know how the Fakhretdinov guy covers this line unless he just sparks him in the first round. I can see Andreas doing good in round 1 where he's throwing hard and he's got cardio and putting up a fight, not getting taken down, and then gets really tired in the third and gets caught in the guillotine. Fakhretdinov has a really nice guillotine. He's put Udo out. He's put another guy out cold. But yeah, I mean, I think I might have to take a little bit of a sprinkle on Fakhretdinov, I think. And you can always potentially live bet Andreas, a live bet Fakhretdinov later on as Andreas starts to slow down. But I think he's going to have a decent round 1. Although there is some questions about the drop to welterweight. Next fight, we got my apologies, probably should have stayed on that page. I have a feeling I know what it is anyway. It should be Molina. Yeah, Molina Zhalgas. I mean, this is another fight where it's going to be dog or pass for me. Zhalgas is a bit underrated. He's fighting killers in the UFC. He's had a really close split decision with Paiva. Really close. Well, not really close. He lost a clear 29-28 against Albazi, but I thought that was a good showing from him. Um, he came out, started swinging for the fences against Cup. He actually hurt Cup. If he comes out like that again, I mean, Molina's been hit and dropped by a lot of. He's been dropped by Alishi Rang. He's been dropped by, not dropped, but he has been. He got his leg kick counted and dropped by Silva on Contender Series. He's hittable and he's not physical. He can be taken down. Silva rushed him, took him down, took his back. Obviously that guy's a bit of a flake and he just fell apart. But yeah, I see a lot of hype on Molina, but I think if the only problem is if Zhalgas comes out with his very low output and backing up style, he's going to be giving up minutes to Molina. He's very high volume and he has good technical striking. Even someone like Rivera, who's a very bad fighter, he was doing well against Zhalgas using his reach and his height, because Zhalgas just loves to back up. But luckily, Zhalgas cracked him and then finished him. But yeah, I mean, I think he's got the wrestling edge. He's got the physicality. He's very durable. Good wrestling if he wants it. He hasn't used it much. He used it against Albazi to secure round 1 late, which was smart. If he just chooses to use it for 3 rounds here, he can exploit Molina. Molina's good at getting up off his back, and he has good jiu-jitsu, but he always starts slow. He gets taken down, or he gets hurt, or he gets cracked. I can't play this juice line. I think there's a lot of hype there. People love him because he's a finisher and exciting fighter, but yeah, easy dog or pass. I might wait for this line to get a bit more steamed. I'm surprised it hasn't been steamed already. Maybe more people have noticed what I have. But yeah, dog or pass, and you can probably hedge live on Molina after he's potentially lost round 1, and he's usually good at working into the fight. He picks up, and his combinations look very nice in rounds 2 and 3. Gravely versus Munoz. I would have loved to take this earlier. I would have taken Munoz as a decent underdog. Unfortunately, money's come in on him, and now I think it's probably lined a bit accurate. I think Gravely it kind of reminds me of a mini Romero. Short, compact, very explosive. Good wrestler for his weight class, very strong. He can crack as well. He broke Manessa's jaw in the last fight. He's usually very durable too. That was the first knockout loss. But yeah, everyone's mentioned he's always live to putting his head in submissions, mostly guillotines. Hasn't been submitted too many times by guillotines. It's mostly rear naked chokes and other subs, and I haven't really seen Johnny go for get many guillotines on his record, but he's got really good jiu-jitsu, really good top control. When he gets into mount, he's heavy, really good ground and pound. On top of that, he's wrestling. He's got good penetration, but he can't finish it all the time. But on the other side, when he locks his hands against the cage, he's got really good takedowns. Maness is really good takedown defense. We saw against Gravely was struggling. But when Johnny locked his hands against the cage, he high crutched them and slammed them on the ground. He even did that same thing in round 2, even though he spent the whole round getting stuffed. So that's the one takedown. If he can get you against the cage, if he can lock his hands, he can lift you up, he can slam you. If he's shooting in the middle of the octagon, he's getting stuffed. Maybe it's his lack of penetration, lack of physicality. But he keeps shooting. He will constantly shoot. He slows down. Gravely slows down too. Both push through it. Both keep shooting for takedowns. I think this is, if Gravely takes him down, he's going to have to stay in his very dangerous guard, and he's playing with fire. If he stands, Johnny's not the best stand-up, but he's very active with his kicks. He's got good volume. He can maybe keep Gravely on the outside. If Gravely comes in, he can maybe try to take him down. Because Gravely's got some power advantages in wrestling, and if he survives the submission attempt, I can see him just sitting on top and winning a decision. That's why I think he should be the slight favorite. So I don't really see any value at the moment, but I can't play Gravely as a favorite here. I think this would potentially be a close fight, but if it was still $2.30, if it was a bit more of a dog, I probably would have played Johnny. I could probably see him getting a good round one, getting a takedown or so, and then, or maybe just striking from a distance. He played with the striking a bit more against Simmons. I think he's improving, but yeah, at the moment, just a pass fight for me. Maybe see who gasses first, and then look for a live bet angle. Next fight we got Saint Denis and Stolze. This is an easy pass for me. I thought I would be on Benoit as a slight favorite. I remember Stolze being easily taken down, and that's why he was a massive underdog to Ime. He seemed to show some improvement, but I think in hindsight, Ime is a bit underrated. Overrated. Sorry. He probably could have won that fight as a split decision, and then in the next fight, I mean, he got slammed and taken down by Gooden and knocked out. So he still has that weakness of going for guillotines, looking for subs, rather than just focusing solely on stopping takedowns. I think Benoit doesn't have the worst wrestling offense. I think he will get Stolze down, but he's also, I don't think he's the best jiu-jitsu fighter. He's very, on regionals, he's very scrambly. He gets reversed. He gets put in bad positions himself. And Stolze seems to be an okay grappler, but I just can't get a read on either guy. I need to see more of them in the UFC. I think this could be a very volatile fight. Takedowns, reversals. Benoit doesn't have the best defense. I can see him getting hit. I can see Stolze getting hit. So I just don't want my money on a fight like this. Damon Jackson, Argueta. Again, I'm going to skip this. I mean, no value on Jackson, even at $1.30 when I taped it. I thought about finish. Argueta's moving up, but he has missed weight at bantamweight. He's a big bantamweight. So I don't think, sure, he's giving up inches in height and reach, but Jackson's not the most physical guy. I can see Argueta taking him down early. He's gritty, tough, durable, but he is hittable, and I could potentially see Damon finishing. He's got very underrated striking. I've taken Damon a lot now, especially when I played him against Kirk. He's got underrated striking. He's got some one-punch KO finishes on the regionals, and a lot of the people he's subbed, he's hurt him first. So I thought about the finish angle for Damon, but I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of props unless I'm certain I can see, Argueta just toughing it out, being a tough guy, and just me pulling my hair out. So I don't want to put money on either side here, so I just pass. Solecki De Silva, I've got money on this fight, so I got this De Silva early. I ended up taping this fight twice because I couldn't get a read unless I went deep into both guys' careers. I think it just comes down to Solecki has the much better jiu-jitsu, much better control. He's good when he gets to the mount, really good at passing, really good back takes, a lot more dangerous with his submissions. De Silva's a lot more physical, better wrestler, better takedown defense. He seems very strong. This was even back for his age when he just made his debut in the UFC. Yakovlev was a sambo master, and he was just struggling to take him down when he got in on sips. He was getting slammed, reversed, until De Silva gassed. Even taking Riddell down. Riddell is a good wrestler. He's won his last fight in the UFC, before the UFC 5-round title fight, just by wrestling someone. And obviously he won his Drew Dober fight by wrestling him. So Riddell's a decent wrestler, and De Silva was doing good against him in the beginning. I think Solecki's a bit gassy himself. You're looking at both are gassy, but it's like, De Silva's got good power. He's got knockouts. He's a decent striker. He's young. He's improving. If this goes to round 3, both are going to be gassy, but Solecki, if he doesn't finish him, who's going to win that round 3? I mean, Gordon was really gassed against him in round 3, and Solecki just let that fight go. He's also, whenever he gets reversed and falls off the top, he just doesn't do anything up the bottom for a really good jiu-jitsu fighter, which is a bit of a red flag. De Silva, there's not much footage of him on his back, but from what I did see on the regionals against not the best fighters, he's got an active guard and he looks to stand up. You just kind of have to give him the benefit of the doubt here. That he possibly can survive, because he is young and he is a black belt and he's been a black belt for a bit, and he has that good wrestling base and he is improving. But I mean, how wrong can you be at these massive odds? Maybe you can hedge it with a round 1 sub. Probably the most likely time Solecki's going to get the sub. But also, Solecki has nice switch stance striking, and he kind of glides on his feet and throws some nice hooks. But I don't like his defense. He's very leaves a lot to be desired. He's in that Jim Miller fight where he just fell over. He actually got cracked with a good left hand before he fell down. So he's very open to strikes, and I think De Silva can crack him or hurt him. So I took a bit of a sprinkle 1 unit shot on the dog at early odds, and obviously I might arb out a little bit as odds get closer and closer, more money comes on Silva. But yeah, got a bit of action on De Silva, and hopefully it comes in a bit improved. But even if it doesn't, I think that's a decent play. I'm not going to talk too much about this fight. I usually tape every single fight and look for avenues in every single fight to play. I taped the original fight. Karolina won 29-28, but it was still a split decision. Just tells you all you need to know. That was years ago now. Yeah, I just didn't want to waste my time. And the odds are pretty much a pick 'em. How much value is there anyway? So pass. Menifield versus Askar. I probably had the most action on this fight. At first, I had a unit on, or 2 units on Alonso at $1.66. And then obviously I hammered the under. The under, I thought it was going to be like $1.40, but ended up opening $1.66, same as Alonso money line. I ended up hammering that as well. Not hammering, but 2 units is hammering for me, especially when it comes to props. Yeah, everyone's already talked about this guy's record. He seems a fraud. Probably why I cashed out one of my units on Alonso is because I thought this guy's record's not too bad. You know, maybe he's training at good gyms. Maybe he can finish Alonso early. But as he's becoming more and more of a fraud as days go by, I'm just thinking, yeah, maybe this guy's just absolutely horrendous. We've all seen that fight where he taps 2 strikes to Torres, which was a big red flag. He can get up off his back once or twice in the first round, but if you keep pursuing it or if you mount him, it's over. He just a little bit more resistance, and then he just gives up. So, I mean, I wouldn't be laying the juice on Alonso now. I mean, I was against it against William Knight as well. I said that fight should be a pick'em. Alonso is not worthy. But he probably just runs through Askar. Alonso likes to go for takedowns, despite him being a knockout artist. So I can see him just running through Askar like the fight where I got the Lamprey choke. But yeah, I got the under here, and I've got Alonso's early line. I can probably just hedge it with round 1 for Askar because he is athletic and he's a lot more faster, and his strikes are a lot sharper than Alonso early, at least. So there is a bit of a danger there. And Alonso got cracked once by Ed Herman in the first, and he just backed up and was holding his eye. So that was a bit of a worry. So, but you got the under there to hedge you, and if he gets out of round 1, Alonso should win this fight. Ode Osbourne, Zaruk. I seen if Fimbul was with me discussing this, we only would have done 5 fights. This would have been one of them. But I see a lot of people on both sides. I've seen people with 5 units on Ode. I see people on Zaruk. Ultimately, I'm passing. I can see Zaruk is a very good kickboxer. He's technical. He's got layers to his game. He can win with leg kicks, switches stances, blitzes in with hooks. He can mix in takedowns if you watch his early footage in Bellator. He's a good counter striker. Ode has the same reach as Sue if you watch the Sue fight, and Zaruk did really well in the first round to win round 1 against Sue Madeji. And I think Sue is a lot more evasive, better defense, faster, crisper striker, better cardio as well. And if Zaruk doesn't get dropped in round 2, he could potentially win a 29-28 against Sue, who's got all these technical advantages over him, just like Ode. So yeah, I can't play Ode at these juiced odds, and I can't play Zaruk because I'm not sure if Zaruk's chinny or not. I mean, he's getting hurt by the biggest hitters in the division, Tyson Nam, Sue, and Benoit. These guys all crack. But he recovers, which could tell you he actually has a good chin. It's just maybe hittable or not the best defense. But yeah, I mean, massive reach advantage for Ode. I think the best path here is see how Ode goes in round 1. He's probably going to be doing well with his massive reach and speed, but he just doesn't put his hands up. He's very fast, so he's okay with countering, and his chin seems really good. But if his hands are that low and he's just going to wait for Zaruk to throw hooks at him to counter him, he's going to get tagged, and he gets tagged all the time. So I can't lay the juice on him. I can't lay Zaruk. I don't know. I have a feeling he's going to have a tough round one. Either going to be very low output and he's going to gauge at distance, or he's going to maybe get cracked again, like usual, by a much faster and more explosive Ode early. So yeah, I thought I would have something here considering how popular the fight is, but yeah, I'm passing, and I will live bet potentially Zaruk, see how Ode looks. Another fight I see a lot of people on, Poliana. I can see it. I can see the aspect, Karine probably potentially looking like a fraud coming from Contender Series, fighting bums, finish or bust. But yeah, I just need to see more footage, Botelho is not someone that I can trust. It's barely plus money. She's got barely any UFC level wins. She's a gasser. See people saying Karina's a gasser, but then you got two gassers, and the money on Botelho is not, the odds on Botelho are not that great for me to be playing her. Maybe if she was $2.30, something like Jairzinho, then my hand would be forced. She's got very good takedown defense and balance early, and Cavillo and Robertson, they both got in deep on her single because she's very wide stance, and she did very well to jump on her lead leg and not get taken down. Or when she got taken down, she popped straight back up with one leg. So I can see her doing that in this fight, but I don't have any thoughts on Karina's wrestling. I'm not sure how good her wrestling is. She's got some throws in there as well. Poliana also, I don't like her game. She throws body kicks, naked body kicks. Even when her coach told her not to do it against Robertson, she just did it again in round 2 and got taken down. So I don't like her IQ. She kicks. She's gassy. When low output, when the striking is not working, she clinches. If she clinches here, she might get hip tossed and submitted. It's just a pass fight for me. Double my money on it, and hopefully we get some idea of Silva's game. Trizano Almeida. Initially thought there was a lot of value in Almeida here, aggressive guy, versus a guy that just throws a jab 1-2 and leg kick and goes to split decision and just has no urgency whatsoever. But I think looking deep into it, Trizano is a bit more defensively sound and clean, and even though Lucas Almeida might be throwing more output and aggression, the cleaner shots might be landing on Trizano's side, like the eye-popping shots, because Almeida is very hittable. I've seen him dropped in regionals, and that could lose him the fight, even though it was aggressive, and even though he's throwing a lot more volume. One good 1-2 down a pipe, and the judges noticed that. But I think, plus his cardio, plus his takedown defense. I know Trizano doesn't actively wrestle, but he has gone for takedowns. He's taken down Davidu, he's taken down Pena. He will shoot for him, and he seems to have decent wrestling. And Lucas Almeida's takedown defense looks so bad that I have no problems with Trizano taking him down. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I'm sure he's improving, but yeah, he probably should be the favorite. But yeah, at this juice line, I'm probably going to have some action on Almeida. I feel like he will have a good round at a very high clip more often than not, unless he gets dropped. I've seen him dropped in the first round before. But you just have to. I mean, Trizano's having split decisions versus Pena, and even in tough Ultimate Fighter finale, the Joe guy, Giglietti or whatever his name is just doesn't put stamps on. Even Klein's proven to be a fraud, and he can't handle pressure, and he's a bit flaky and gassy. And Trizano almost lost that fight. He still couldn't put a stamp on rounds. So I could see him maybe losing round 1, coming back for coming strong in round 3. So you can potentially hedge it there. Play Trizano live after he loses round 1. He came back strong versus Davidu in the 3rd, so he's capable of it, but he just doesn't do it enough. So maybe a half unit shot on Almeida, but Trizano should be the slight favorite. Then Ige Evloev. Evloev should be the favorite, but I think this line is a bit disrespectful. I mean, Ige comes to fight, he can crack, but his power alone and his durability and his willingness to fight should make him a a smaller underdog. I mean, is he worse than Nick Lentz? And he might be worse than Dawodu, but I mean, he's ranked and Dawodu isn't. He's had a similar fight against Bektic, and Bektic held him down in round 2, but he stuffed a few takedowns in round 3, got some reversals. Evloev gets reversed too. He's just very dogged and very relentless with his takedowns. But sometimes he chooses to stand too long in round 2 or 3 or 1 and get cracked a couple times, lose those rounds with one judge's scorecard. I mean, it's sweaty. It's sweaty, but then also I reckon that fight with Korean Zombie, that's what's influencing this line quite a lot. I mean, we've never seen someone wrestle Ige like that before. And I see a lot of people on Evloev decision. Yeah, that's probably the most likely bet, but I didn't like how much of his neck Ige was giving to Korean Zombie and how comfortable he was just letting Zombie, get his forearm under his chin and then try and finish it. He was just kind of like playing, seeing if he can tough it out, which, I mean, that's risky. But again, we've seen Evloev have Dawodu's back for like almost 3 rounds, and he's just not even close to getting any sort of rear naked on him. So probably just gets another decision or a tough fought fight. But yeah, Ige's going to put up a fight, man. It's kind of one of those recency bias lines. I don't think he's going to look as bad as he did in the Korean Zombie fight, just because he looked bad in that fight. Could have been a bit off, or maybe not expecting wrestling from Korean Zombie. But yeah, at the moment, probably a pass for me. All right, lucky last. I do actually have a play, and it's probably one of my most confident first play, and probably one of my most confident on this card. I've got Jairzinho here. I thought this fight should be a pick'em at worst. We got Volkov, who some people think he's washed recently. I don't think he's washed recently. I mean, I played Aspinall against him. I played him against Overeem, but that was a favorable matchup. But I mean, if you look at his other matches, when he put on the weight, obviously after the Blades fight, when he ballooned up to 265, he's gassing like in the first round. I mean, he beat Harris, but he's blowing hard in round 2. Luckily, it was a very slow-paced fight where Harris allowed him to just teep him from far out and kick him from a distance. Overeem fight, he was breathing heavy as well, and it was just a very low output fight. The Cyril Gane fight, yeah, he did a bit good against him in certain rounds, but he just gassed. And if you compare the two fighters, Volkov was a lot more of a punching bag against Gane. Like, he was hitting body kicks and he was just covering up against the cage, and Gane was just opening up because he wasn't as scared as against Rozenstruik. Like, he couldn't open up against Rozenstruik, so he had to stick to jabs and leg kicks, whereas he was just hammering body kicks to Volkov's body because he just seemed gassed and deflated. Just treated him like a punching bag. And then obviously Tybura, everyone knows about that Tybura fight. He gave an excuse about having a kid and whatnot. But honestly, if Tybura was just struck for that fight instead of going for takedowns and getting stuffed, he wins. And that's the problem. Tybura was fleet-footed, fast, and I don't think Volkov is mobile enough to avoid the random blitz of Jairzinho. Jairzinho, yeah, he's low output. He looks for that one shot, but he's fast. When he lets go and he explodes, the way he cut off the cage against Dos Santos, the way he cut off the cage against his last KO win that happened in round 1, I can't remember his name, the Brazilian, Sakai. It's scary. He just explodes and unloads, and if he catches you, you're getting dropped, whether it's a jab. It seems like he throws arm punches, but they're so heavy. Like, I think he's top 3. He might even hit harder than Lewis, because Lewis loads up. Lewis throws uppercuts, haymakers. Jairzinho just throws jabs and arm punches as he's jumping in the air. He's not even planted, and he's just dropping people like he's got rocks in his hands. 5 rounds. Volkov's going to be flat-footed. He's very hittable. He's going to gas, and he's just going to plot around, try to keep Jairzinho at distance. But what's he got that's going to keep Jairzinho at distance? Like, he doesn't feint as much as Gane. He's not as fast. He's got a lot of knockouts, but they're all attritional knockouts. He doesn't one-punch KO people. he is heavy-handed. I'll give him that, but I don't see Jairzinho getting knocked out with a teep to the body. I see that's just 5 rounds for Rozenstruik to KO him. Even if he doesn't, I could potentially see a close decision. Maybe stuns him or wobbles him once or twice. Bet365 has a really offline with the draw no bet, not draw no bet, double chance, Rozenstruik KO or decision, $2.60. I mean, never attempted a takedown, never attempted a sub. 30 cents extra. Let's be serious. It's going to be a KO or decision for Rozenstruik, probably a KO. The money line is also value, and Rozenstruik finish no decision, no scorecards. If you go to the decision, you get your money back to push. Volkov probably wins a decision more often than not. Jairzinho has an iron chin. Yeah, he got knocked out by Ngannou, but he doesn't react to anything. He's getting hit and his head doesn't even move. He's just, Overeem was laying that big overhand left and he just felt nothing. So most likely Volkov, I'll be very surprised if Volkov knocked him out, even by attrition. So yeah, I think all the values on Jairzinho, you're probably going to be sweating it as he's throwing nothing. But again, he's got the speed, he's got the power, he's got the athleticism, probably even cardio advantage. And Volkov just has the volume. And he said he's going to lose some weight in the last Aspinall fight and improve. And yes, Aspinall's probably top 4 fighter, top 3 now. But 2 minutes in, Volkov's breathing out of his mouth and he looked tired. So he's saying the same thing now. He's saying he's gone to some mountains or whatever, doing some training so he can improve his cardio. But I'm not going to take that to heart. Just play it and see how it pans out. So yeah, I got money on Rozenstruik in more ways than one, so hopefully it works out. But yeah, that's it. Nice and quick. No Fimbul this week, so I didn't want to bang on too much. Like I said, it's going to get better with time. We're going to fix our presentation, add the logo. I'm not a designer, so I will do everything, but just no time at the moment. So, but yeah, thanks for anyone that's tuned in, and I'll see you next week.